Hey guys, a long-term review of my Geometron G1. So in case you did not hear about the bike, look for Geometron bikes and some of their podcasts. It's really interesting how Chris Porter, the designer, came about with the idea of the whole geometry and the concept. You do need to listen to that because I won't be doing justice. But that aside, it's been 2 years since I purchased the bike. I purchased it as a frame. I will leave the link to the video of the initial frame build later on. But I want to point out there are a few things why I chose the frame. Number one is the modularity and the durability. If you look at the welds, they're like quite big. You also notice that are huge tubes going up and down. So the whole idea of the bike was one bike to do it all. Essentially your XC, Enduro, bike park, wherever you take it, one bike to do it all with all possible customizations. You can build it as a full 29er or Mullet. I purchased it as a Mullet, but eventually, just because the Manitou Measure Pro was on sale, this is a 180mm Manitou Measure Pro. I purchased that fork because it was coming down to $300, and then put down downhill casing tires. So Vittoria Martello, it's almost like 28.5. You quickly zoom back, notice the front versus the rear tire. You'll notice the front tire has much more bigger volume. The rear is a Maxxis aggressor. So the downhill casing tire does have higher volume, does lift up the front end just a tiny bit. So in other sense, I'm keeping the geometry same. Yes, I understand I went from 29 to 27.5. So far, I haven't noticed the difference, at least for my riding ability. Now, in terms of the geometry, right now it's at 63.5 head angle, the rear chainstay at 450, the seat tube at 78.5, a reach of 495. Because the seat tube is quite steep and it has a really nice linkage characteristic, it has no problem pedaling. And right now the weight is, in case you really want to know or maybe particular about the weight is about 38 pounds, and it has no problem pedaling whatsoever. And again, all the adjustment options that can be made on the bike, you have these seat stay mutators that adjust your bottom bracket height as well as your head tube angle. You also have the chain stay mutators that can be changed to increase or decrease your rear chain stay length. Now, how is this different from a flip chip bike, like the bikes with all the flip chips? With the flip chips, your adjustability is finite. But if you contact Geometron, they can give you like 12. Right now I have 12, 11, 15 and 18. I'm running an 18mm. So my point is, because you are swapping a whole piece out, you can make many more adjustments rather than just flipping a chip with finite number of adjustability. So that's the biggest difference. In terms of the components that I'm running right now, before I go there, the ride quality, right? For my ability, I thoroughly enjoy the bike. Right now I am running a Devio Topaz, and the shock has an option. There are two slots. There is a small chip here. You can flip it up or down. When you flip it up, right now it's in a position where the curve or the shock progressivity curve is a little bit exponential. When you put it down, it's more linear. I put in the more exponential piece because it does make the bike lively a little bit, almost like an air shock. A quick overview on how the ride quality is. I have no problem for my ability. Again, I don't do huge jumps. I don't ride super fast, but I take the same bike to the bike park. I also take the same bike to my local trails. And I have no problem whatsoever, either be it XC, sandy, rocky, or just taking it to the bike park. So it's truly a one bike to do it all. And the weight, I don't think it has ever bothered me. It feels really stable, and especially the pedaling platform is excellent. So I'm in fact running 11 to 41 cassette, and I'm quite happy. There'll obviously be a hill which will eventually push, but overall I've been able to conquer 80% of all the terrain. In terms of the components and why I'm running what I'm running, like I mentioned, the front is a Vittoria Martello downhill casing tire. It's much bigger in volume, it's wider, so the grip is better. I also noticed if you're running true downhill casing 4C tires, you don't need the tube inserts. So that's one reason I'm running this. I can pretty much run a tube in. Like right now I'm running a tube, and I have no problem whatsoever in terms of punctures or in terms of having a flat or whatnot. The rear is a Maxxis Aggressor. I do run it insert in there, especially if I'm taking to the bike park. I did convert it to the shredder wall. It's just so much easier to put air in. So all my tubeless I'm going to convert to shredder. The front cockpit setup is a Renthal Apex stem 40 mm in length. I am running the 60 mm bars. I got inspired by Dakota Norton. The one thing a high-rise bar does is it gives you, your stance is much more neutral. Again, you need a geometry that supports that. Earlier I was running a 434 chainstay, and when I put on high-rise bars with short stem, I was having trouble with front end grip, but I increased the chainstay to 450 millimeters, and now this is perfect. I have no problem with front end grip, and my stance is much more neutral. I'm much more upright when I'm standing up and pedaling, or even in the attack position. So again, it depends on the geometry, but for me the 60 mm high-rise bars with a longer chainstay is working great. I am running a DVO Topaz with a Cane Creek coil. The coil was on sale, the DVO was on sale. That's why the mix and match of parts. I am running the race face effect cranks 165 mm with the stamp on pedals. I do like the pedals on the cranks. A Fox transfer, again that was on sale, 170 mm. In terms of the drivetrain, it's all Shimano brakes, XT brakes with Shimano XT shifters. I'm running 11 speed, 11 to 41. Like I mentioned, 41 tooth is really not a lot, but because of the climbing ability of the bike, I have no problem running that combination. Overall, yeah, the durability has been great, no issues whatsoever. It's been 2 years, and I think I'm going to keep this bike for another 3 years at least. There you have it. If you get a chance, do demo a bike, the Geometron bikes. And in case you are wondering, or you must know, these are made in Germany. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.